How did I end up here? Lying in your arms, watching city lights turn to stars.
Overcooked. Maybe you've heard of this little series before, but if not, allow me. Developed by Ghost Town Games and published by Team 17, Overcooked is a very chaotic, coordination-based cooking simulator that puts you in control of one of many cute little chefs as you try to deliver orders shown at the top left of the screen, along with the ingredients required to make them. I first heard of Overcooked a few years back, and though I don't exactly recall what I did, I know that my first exposure to it was through the Runaway guys when they did their collab for it back in 2020, and oh Christ, it's been over a year and a half since then. Passion of time continues to be a cool mistress. My existential dread aside, however, Overcooked looked to be really fun, and while I don't go out my way to go and buy a copy right away, I managed to wait long enough to play Overcooked 2, released in August of 2018, in like December 2021. Yeah. But hey, maybe that was a good thing, because when I finally did, I got to play with my good friends, Stick, Nova Explains, and Akize. And much like with Overwatch, it was that aspect of playing with friends that really made Overcooked 2 for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying nor implying the game of Overcooked 2 itself is bad, not at all, because it's actually really good, having that sense of chaos that shines through, thanks to its time-based gameplay and, excuse the pun here, but it all blends really well when you play with each other. I wouldn't say you absolutely have to play Overcooked 2 with people to get enjoyment out of it, but on your own, it kind of loses some of that magic, you know. I think Pikuniku put it best when he said,
Overcooked somehow manages to mix stressful and slow at the same time. Maybe slow isn't the right word. Restrictive, perhaps?
There's not too much to say about Overcooked 2, honestly, but if there was anything negative I had to say, it's that the online multiplayer can be a bit frustrating with lag and the like, so you're much better off playing it in person. Though with how the world continues to be, if playing online is your only option, then it's fine enough as is. Plus, hey, I think it's kind of hard to say anything bad about Overcooked 2, given all the little chefs it offers you and how they're all just so adorable. I play as the octopus for most of my time. I call him the Blub Blub King. Spoilers, I guess, but out of all the games in this video, Galactic is probably the one I think I'd least be like to play under normal circumstances because of how, from a glance, it doesn't really look like my type of game. But, as they say, appearances can be deceiving. Developed by Ghost Ship Games and published by Coffee Stain Publishing, Galactic was released in May of 2020 after spending like 2 years in early access. happens to be a co-op FPS PvE game that has swarms of enemies to take down and plenty of resources to mine, so in that sense, you could say it bears some resemblance to Minecraft. Objectives are kind of straightforward, having you mine minerals, stealing alien eggs of all things, or just eliminating swarms of enemies. There are also ones where you retrieve lost equipment, but these are far less common to my knowledge. It's honestly a pretty fun game, also having a great sense of humour to it, namely for the fact you'll play as one of 4 dwarves throughout, or residing in a space colony. That alone is funny enough to me, but there are plenty of other great examples of humour throughout, like some of the PSAs that appear on your terminal in your spawn room on a colony, or some of the quips the dwarves yell while you're on your mission. It's all good stuff. By the way, I should say that there are 4 classes of dwarves to pick from: the engineer, the gunner, the driller, and the scout. During my time playing Deep Rock so far, I've been playing as the gunner. Not that I chose to or anything, more because everyone else had already chosen their roles before I started playing. But even so, I just can't see myself switching now because of how much you can just flatten in your way thanks to the minigun the class comes with. It's a lot of fun. Again, this is a game I played with friends, the same friends that I played with for Overcooked 2 in fact, so shout out to the boys for being there with me to play it. I said at the beginning that Deep Rock didn't look like my kind of game at a glance, but that's only because of the art style, having this rough polygonal look to it in areas. But I did warm up to it over time, however, and now I actually like it, and I think it works for this type of game. Don't judge a book by its cover, they say, and yeah, that holds true here. Pikuniku is a strange one. I don't mean the circumstances surrounding the game itself or anything like that, but rather what the game is. Developed by Sector Dub and published by Devolver Digital, yeah, me telling you Devolver Digital is the publisher should be enough already if you know anything about them at all. But nevertheless, released in January 2019, Pikuniku is a puzzle game that puts you in control of this thing, and you must solve these puzzles to venture further into the game. Just gonna say that right, if not for it being a puzzle game or whatever, I think the absolute absurdity of Pikuniku is what's gonna draw you to it. I mean, this game's just bizarre, dude, and I play Calamari Damacy, so that's really saying something. So for this thing you're controlling, you have a few ways of solving puzzles. Kicking, jumping, or using one of your legs to grab onto hooks and swing. And if there's anything at all I can praise, not as I haven't already, it's how satisfying a jump is to pull off and land. There's weight to it, it's easy to grasp, and it's just fun to use over and over again because of how silly it looks. And of course, to accompany its absurd visuals, Pikuniku also has great writing, so look, I'll be honest, for as entertained and in disbelief that I was seeing the absolute absurdity of Pikuniku unfold in front of me, gameplay, visuals, characters and all, I honestly don't think I'm going to be picking it up again. That's nothing against the game, it's more of a me thing, it's just too bloody weird for me to casually consume, you know. And again, I'm speaking as someone who's played Calamari Damacy, so yeah. But hey, if what I've said or what you've been seeing on screen has piqued your interest at all, then I recommend you have at the weird and wacky world that is Pikuniku. Not me though, I think I'm going to play something a little more grounded next time. When it comes to roguelikes, what games immediately come to mind for you? Maybe something like Hades, or The Binding of Isaac, Dead Cells, or even Crypto Necrodancer perhaps? Well, the Spelunky series happens to be one of the early examples of the modern roguelike formula. First released in December 2008, eventually get a sequel almost 12 years later in September 2020, Spelunky 2. Developed by Mossmouth and Blipworks and published by Mossmouth, Spelunky 2 maintains everything that made the original so great, being a 2D platforming game that incorporates procedural generation in the form of randomly generated cave designs that change every time you play or respawn, making for a different experience each time. A lot of people have talked about this in the past when talking about roguelikes, but this kind of design is what makes them so addictive. Getting to see something new each time and the hope that it will yield different results, encouraging you to continue on, despite there being no guarantee of success. That is excellent game design, and Spelunky 2 is no exception. In Spelunky 2 you control Anna, and the main objective is to collect treasure and venture through the cave systems in order to find your family who went missing years ago in the same caves. Along the way, you'll get items like bombs you can use to clear paths, and rope that you can use to climb up or to safely lower yourself down because, yeah, there's fall damage. In fact, a lot of things can kill you here, so best be careful because these are dangerous caves indeed. Even though I'm absolute garbage at Spelunky 2 and the furthest I could only manage to get was level 1-3, I had so much fun playing it. I wouldn't say it was as addictive for me as Hades was, but it definitely kept my attention for as long as I did play it, and I eventually even had to force myself away from it, so yeah, I think that's endorsement enough. I understand the random nature of roguelikes may be a deterrent to some, not being able to plan ahead or learn from the mistakes in some senses. That I get, but I think the offering of an entirely new / unique experience each time is a good enough incentive, and could provide for great talking points with your friends as you discuss what you saw and what they did. A discussion game, if you will. Okay, maybe not on a level of discussion like something like Metal Gear Solid, where every cutscene seemingly requires its own roundtable discussion, but not everything needs to be complicated. Seems the theme for this video was experiences. Overcooked 2 and Deep Rock Galactic are often experiences you'll remember forever when playing with friends. Pikuniku was another experience altogether, being super absurd, and Spelunky 2 offers you a new experience each time you play. Experience is a valued thing in any aspect, whether that be in real life or in video games, so cherish those experiences, because then someday you can finally look back on them.